Magic in ancient Egypt holds a profound, multifaceted significance, deeply embedded in the culture and daily life of this ancient civilization. At its core, Egyptian magic was not merely a collection of supernatural practices, but an integral part of their worldview, seamlessly blending with religion, medicine, and the natural world. It was a means to manipulate and control unseen forces to benefit individuals and society at large. Magic was regarded as a vital tool that allowed Egyptians to influence outcomes, avert dangers, and communicate with deities and the deceased. The importance of magic in ancient Egypt cannot be overstated. It was both a practical and spiritual necessity. It permeated various aspects of life, from religious rituals to healthcare practices. Magic was seen as a gift from the gods, especially the god Thoth, who is believed to have penned the Scroll of Thoth, a mythical book of powerful spells. Such magical texts, inscribed on papyrus or carved into amulets, were vital resources. For example, the Book of the Dead is a well-known collection of spells intended to guide the deceased through the afterlife and ensure a safe passage to the realm of Osiris. A prime example of real-world application of magic is in medicine. Physicians in ancient Egypt were often priests who would combine practical treatments with magical incantations to heal the sick. A specific case involves the use of spells to protect against scorpion stings, a common hazard. Another application was in the form of amulets, which were worn for protection against evil spirits and as sources of good fortune. The Eye of Horus, for instance, was a popular amulet believed to offer protection, health, and rejuvenation. Despite its prominence, the concept of magic faced challenges and controversies. The distinction between sanctioned magical practices and malevolent sorcery, or heka and aku, was a delicate balance. Sorcerers who practiced harmful magic were often feared and reviled, and this dark side of magic invites intrigue into its ethical dimensions. Some scholars argue that what was labeled magic may have merely been misunderstood science, blurring lines in historical interpretation. Magic's role in ancient Egypt was undeniably complex. It connected to and influenced various domains, intertwining with religion, healthcare, and societal structures, illustrating the civilization's holistic approach to understanding and navigating the world. By exploring magic's darker facets, its potential for misuse and social fears, it becomes a lens through which we can better grasp the anxieties, beliefs, and values of ancient Egypt, highlighting the dual-edged nature of its power. The role of magic in Egyptian society was both intricate and integral, weaving its way through the various facets of daily life, religious practices, and governance. In ancient Egypt, magic was not merely a collection of supernatural practices. It was a crucial component of their understanding of the world, deeply entwined with religion and medicine. This belief system, known as heka, was viewed as a legitimate force that empowered both gods and humans to maintain order and harmony in the universe. Practitioners, known as magicians or sao, were respected figures, often working alongside priests and physicians, believed to wield the power to heal the sick, protect the dead, and influence the forces of nature. The significance of magic within Egyptian society cannot be overstated. It was a fundamental means by which the ancient Egyptians navigated the uncertainties of life, offering solutions to mundane problems as well as existential threats. This reliance on magic reveals much about the mindset of ancient Egyptians, who perceived reality as interconnected with the divine and believed in the ability to manipulate unseen forces for positive outcomes. One striking example of magic in action is the use of amulets. These objects, imbued with magical properties, were worn or carried to protect individuals from harm. The Eye of Horus amulet, for instance, was believed to grant protection, health, and rejuvenation. Another example is the Book of the Dead, a collection of spells designed to aid the deceased in their journey through the afterlife, ensuring safe passage and providing instructions for overcoming obstacles. Despite its widespread acceptance, the practice of magic also drew skepticism and fear. Some ancient texts reveal concerns about the misuse of magic, with stories of malevolent sorcerers casting harmful spells. As a result, certain practices were shrouded in secrecy, and accusations of black magic could lead to severe punishments, reflecting societal tensions around the control of magical knowledge. This complex role of magic intertwines with the darker aspects of Egypt's mystical practices. It shows how magic could be both revered and feared, serving as a mirror to the dual nature of power itself, capable of creation and destruction. This duality highlights the delicate balance ancient Egyptians sought to maintain between order and chaos, control and free will, matters that are central to understanding the darker aspects of their magical traditions. Thus, the exploration of magic's role provides a crucial lens for examining how the ancients sought to influence and harmonize their world through mystical means. When discussing rituals and practices, understanding the methods in the context of exploring the darker aspects of ancient Egypt's magic, it's essential to first define what these terms encapsulate. In ancient Egyptian culture, rituals and practices were structured sets of actions and recitations believed to harness supernatural powers. These rituals, often performed by priests or magicians, were designed to protect, heal, curse, or even communicate with the gods and the deceased. They formed a cornerstone of ancient Egyptian society, reflecting a complex interplay between religion, magic, and daily life. This aspect is significant within the broader topic, as it provides insight into how magic was intertwined with the belief systems and everyday practices of the Egyptians. Magic was not merely seen as a tool for good, but was also wielded in darker contexts, often to exert control or to exact revenge. Understanding these rituals illuminates the dual nature of magic, its capacity for both benevolence and malevolence. For instance, one notable ritual was the execration texts, which involved the inscribing of curses onto pottery figurines representing enemies. These figures would then be smashed as a symbolic act of destruction, aiming to unleash harm upon the intended victims. Another example is the opening of the mouth ceremony, which was primarily positive, intended to revive the senses of a deceased person for the afterlife, yet could potentially be manipulated for darker purposes. In support of these ideas, many scholars argue that such rituals were an essential means of maintaining social order and stability, where the community could direct supernatural forces to achieve desired outcomes. However, there are alternative viewpoints suggesting that reliance on magic also reflected societal fears and uncertainties which some people sought to exploit for personal gain. Challenges and controversies do exist around the interpretation of these practices. Some historians question the efficacy of these rituals, viewing them as little more than elaborate jests or psychological reassurance. Additionally, translations and interpretations of ancient texts can vary, leading to disputes about their meanings and intentions. These rituals and practices connect intricately with the darker side of Egyptian magic, as they reveal a civilization preoccupied with the control of hidden forces, a theme that echoes through their beliefs about the afterlife and their pantheon of gods. By examining these methods, we gain a nuanced understanding of how ancient Egyptians perceived and interacted with the world around them, blurring the lines between the sacred and the profane. Spells and incantations in ancient Egypt were integral to the practice of magic, serving as powerful tools to manipulate and influence the world. These verbal formulas, often accompanied by specific rituals, invoke divine intervention or protective forces to achieve a desired outcome. The significance of spells and incantations in the context of exploring the dark side of ancient Egypt's magic lies in their duality. While they could be benevolent, aimed at healing or protection, they could also be wielded for malevolent purposes, such as curses or hexes, reflecting the complex moral landscape of ancient Egyptian belief systems. For instance, one prominent example is the Curse of the Pharaohs, where spells were allegedly used to protect royal tombs from intruders by invoking death or misfortune upon those who dared disturb the sanctity of the burial. Another example includes the Excerption of Protection from the Book of the Dead, intended to fend off evil spirits for the deceased as they journeyed through the afterlife. These real-world applications underscore the perceived potency of spells and incantations as crucial instruments of power and control in both life and death. Many scholars and historians argue that these practices reflect a society deeply invested in the metaphysical, viewing spells not as superstitions, but as legitimate tools to interact with unseen forces. The belief in the efficacy of these incantations is evidenced by their widespread use across different levels of society, from pharaohs to common citizens seeking protection, prosperity, or vengeance. However, this dependence on spells and incantations is not without controversy. Some critics suggest that the dark side of Egyptian magic may have propagated a culture of fear and superstition, where individuals were constantly wary of hexes or maleficent interventions. Additionally, the secrecy and exclusivity of magical knowledge, primarily controlled by priests, posed a challenge to societal transparency and power dynamics. In the broader context of ancient Egyptian magic, spells and incantations create a nexus linking religion, power, and society. Their influence permeated other aspects of life, such as medicine and politics, reflecting the interwoven nature of magic and daily life. As tools of power, they highlight a civilization's deep need to understand and manipulate the natural and supernatural realms to secure control over human and divine destinies. Through their use, the ancient Egyptians sought not only to navigate the mysteries of existence, but also to assert dominion over the uncertainties of their world.